The coastline has always been a big source of inspiration for my photography. I find much wonder and joy from spending hours exploring the Scottish coast and documenting my adventures through the lens. There is one location in particular that I have spent much time enjoying and exploring in recent years. My draw to this place is helped massively by the presence of a famous lighthouse, but the towering sand dunes, wild weather and remote feel of this place further draw me here time and time again. Despite having visited this location many times, I've yet to capture it in the way that I have dreamt or envisaged. This spot is well known for being great for sunrises, but I've yet to capture that light that it is so well known for. Despite this, my draw here continues and my quest remains. During my last trip here, I noticed the light was at its best, not where the sun was rising, but 180 degrees in the opposite direction. Here the clouds were lit up many shades of pinks and purples, and it got me thinking, maybe I should switch things up and come here for sunset instead. So that's exactly what I'm doing today. Let the adventure begin. I've come armed today with all of my ND filters, and the main purpose of today's trip really was for me to do some long exposure photography of the waves coming in around the lighthouse and hopefully getting some movement in the sky as well. So that was my plan for today. But as you can hopefully see behind me here, we've got this massive pool of water all throughout the sand dunes, which I've never seen before. I've seen a couple of small pools of water in this location, but I've never seen like a massive, almost pond that's been created within the sand dunes. And while there's some really annoying clumps of rubbish and everything that's been washed up on the beach that ruins this shot in some ways, it is easy enough if I wanted to remove them in post-processing. But what I thought I would do is, because this is a very famous and well photographed location, and I've really been struggling over the years to try and get a nice unique shot making the most of the light, I thought what I'd do today, while this amazing pond and pool of water has been created here, is really utilise it. And as you can hopefully see just now, we're just coming into golden hour and we've got this lovely light over the landscape, which is just beautiful. It's been so long since I've been out doing something like this and embracing these kind of conditions, and now that we're beginning to move into the middle of spring and summer will be here soon as well, this is the time of year that I love so much for landscape photography. The days are getting warmer, the nights are getting longer, the weather's getting more calm and subdued, and that tranquil, peaceful feel is beginning to be felt outdoors and in the landscape. So I'm going to set myself up, try and get some interesting shots of this pool of water before heading to the beach itself to do the shots that I plan to come here for. But a great tip there, never fully plan your shoots, because you might come to a location and discover something like this, which you may find more interesting than the original photographs you'd intended to take. a 3-stop, an 8-stop and a 10-stop ND filter. And what I'm hoping is by using a variety of these different kind of gradients and these different strengths, should I say, of filter, that I'm going to be able to get a mixture of kind of 1 to 2 second exposures as well as some really long exposure shots. So I'm beginning today, we've got about 45 minutes till sunset, and I've come to an angle over to the side here where I'm to the side of the lighthouse, and we've got these crashing waves coming in beside me. And what I'm hoping is by using the 3-stop filter that I can slow them down by a second or two and allow me to get just a slight bit of movement in them as they're crashing to shore rather than the really long exposure shots. Because what I really want to do is utilise those crashing waves and not completely blur them out. So that's how I'm going to begin this just now, and we'll see what I can create. And what I'm finding is that because the waves are crashing so ferociously behind me, that 1 to 2 seconds was a bit too slow of a shutter speed for this. So what I've been doing is I've got my polarising filter on and the 3-stop ND that I was talking to you about a minute ago. But what I'm finding with that is that it was giving me a shutter speed of 1.6 of a second or 2.6 of a second. And that's actually, I'm finding, to be just slow enough to allow me to get some movement in the waves. So I was playing around with the different shutter speeds, both 1 to 2 seconds as well as that slightly faster shutter speed there, and it was allowing me to just get enough movement in the waves to create motion and movement and give me this really dreamy feel to these photographs, which I really like. I feel very calm and tranquil when I look at these shots, and you will have already seen a couple of them there of just how the waves were, you know, just being sort of frozen as they were crashing. And also one thing to look at when you're shooting this style of image is when the waves begin to retreat. So you get a massive crashing wave coming in, and when they begin to retreat, taking your photograph, then you can get some really nice lines as the water draws back out to sea. And it's just a really nice creative way, I think, to get something a little bit different from an iconic location like this, and something that I've never actually tried here, which is allowing me, given the light isn't great this afternoon, you know, we've not got really nice colours or anything so far in the sky. That might change when the sun is set, but it's allowing me to create interest in images when the light's a bit kind of flat and dull, but also create that movement. Something a bit different, making the most of an iconic location. And I think we're still early days, so we've got about another hour, I'd say, here of taking photographs, but I think I finally got shots of this lighthouse that I'm happy with after many years of trying, which is a great feeling. is incredible. I cannot remember the last time that I was out with my camera and took as many shots as I have in the last half an hour. I literally think I've taken about 300 shots. And the reason for that is when you're shooting something like moving water, you have to take a number of shots when the water is moving in and out and the waves are crashing to try and get something unique and interesting, because a lot of the shots you'll take and they'll be a bit messy in places, or the waves will be crashing maybe not quite as you wanted them to. And also when you're shooting around sunset that I'm currently doing, you have that nice golden light on the landscape, and then as the sun sets, tonight we've been so blessed with this lovely purple and turquoise colours just illuminating the clouds behind the lighthouse itself. And I have to say, despite this location being well known as being a sunrise location, I personally think this evening has been the best shoot I've ever had at this lighthouse, and it is sunset. And I think it just proves that actually locations may be well known for certain times of the day, but breaking that cycle of going to a famous sunrise location at a different time of day can actually result in much better images. And one thing I'm starting to really utilise in my photography is I'm starting to not shoot so much the glaring light that you get at sunrise and sunset, but that subtle tones that you get in the opposite direction, because they're just beautiful and they give you this lovely calming and relaxing feel to your photographs. And that coupled with an ND filter to give you a slightly longer exposure, just beautiful. I don't think I could have asked for better conditions this afternoon. There's not a breeze in the air, but the sea is wild because we had a lot of wind last week and it's not quite died down yet. And because there's not a breeze in the air, it's made being out this afternoon very comfortable, and it's allowed for this lovely, calm, subtle tones in the sky this evening. Just beautiful. I hope you enjoyed all the images. I'll probably share a few more with you now before I say goodbye, because there's just so many of them and I don't quite know how many of them I like. I think there's going to be a lot. So I've just shared some of them with you, and I'll share the rest of them with you now before I sign off. Like those shots, this location, I mean, just look at that. I mean, a lighthouse, sunset tones, crashing waves, exciting creative photography. It just shows you, as I've said before, breaking out of that habit of going to iconic locations at times of day when they are best suited to go to can actually lead to much better unique images. As always, I want to say a huge thank you for watching. I hope you liked the images in this video, something a little bit different from a nice location. And yeah, I look forward to hopefully seeing you all again next time.